It's interesting how the whole factory explodes just because you ignite the combustion chamber. There should be some safety on that, right? Alright, let's go. You can do it! Yes! Look at the fire. Lol. What do you mean? Okay, above the buttons. Let me see. Oh, there. Oh. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Yeah. Ah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah! Secret note 14 out of 15. Dr. Penner's note. I knew Hirsch couldn't be trusted. He fled to the mines, though which he must have gotten out. Since he was not found, I relocated him underground just because we didn't have anyone else to repair the machines. There's no one among the believers of our order who can undertake such a task, and hiring some non-believer dog from the outside is risky. I would transfer some weak-minded and aggressive patient to the mines as soon as possible to guard the mines. At the same time, I took steps to make way out impassable. Impossible? I took steps to make the way out impossible, right? Impossible, not impassable. Okay. Hansi Hirsch. Hansi Hirsch. You think you've escaped us? You think that it's the end for you? But you know that the wrath of the order of Alexius Kellner will catch up and you sooner or with you sooner or later. Shame your mother didn't suffocate as soon as you saw the light of day. You regret the day you were born. Hell opens its jaws and would devour you whole. You're doomed. You just don't know it yet. Dr. Wolfgang Penner.
Bravo, Hans. You managed to escape.
You
If
found
you
the
can
right
do it,
place.
I can do it too.
By the way, I don't want to nitpick, but I think this has to be impossible here instead of impassable. And Hansi. Hansi.
Jeez.
Note by Hans Hirsch. I mentioned a few times that I had once served at OCC's time as a craftsman taking care of the building's technical condition. Birke Stein and Penner came to see me one day. They suggested I could do my job again inside the underground gas factory. I agreed, since it's much better than rotting in a mental institution. However, the technical condition of the underground factory, which I had no idea existed, is regrettable. The person who designed the gas pipeline had either to be crazy or a complete amateur. Even with the best of care, there is a permanent risk of gas explosion, which just happened. I told Dr. Penner that he just glossed over the issue, so I don't know which is better, sitting in a mental institution or staying alive, going down here and risking the whole factory burning down, and me with it. Hans Hirsch.
Ah, poor Hans. So you ended up on this godforsaken hole.
Okay, so just have to go to Blutenberg Real Hall, no? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. The lift is eager. What is this music? No, don't go down. We have to go up.
This is epic.
It was also my idea. Swankes wanted to have like you will go up and leave the institution, and I had another idea.
And sometimes when one wants to go up, paradoxically, one has to go down. Instead of being taken to our service, I have the lift collapsed with me in some old mine. We can get out of here. There must be another way to access the mine besides the elevator. Swankes just wanted to go his merry own way. Just out of here.
My endings are usually like dull, strange. So I wanted something to make it a little bit more different. Like you just not you. The idea was like you will just leave the madhouse or the asylum, and it will be end.
Yeah.
And I wanted something different.
Mm-hmm. And there's this dude that guards this place here. Yeah. I like it because there is another different environment, which adds to the, you know, it had this place. This custom story has so many different environments, which Madhouse 1 and 2 didn't have so much. You had the beginning of usually the madhouse in a castle outside, and then you stay mainly in the castle and sometimes to like a shed or something like that. Oh.
This was supposed to be just a small room in the mines, and it end up a little bit bigger.
Nice.
I was like, this room will be really small, and then I spent 1 hour to creating this minecart from the planes.
Ah, yeah.
There is note on the table.
Yeah, I know. Time well spent, an hour for this. Wanderer's second remark. My god, it looks like all of my luck has already run out. Did I believe Hans Hirsch, who I said could escape through the mines? I thought he was either making fun of me or a few slices short of a loaf. But after a while, Hans disappeared. Everyone searched about madly for him, and Penna was beet red with anger. I tried to escape too, but I had no idea Penna had made sure no one could ever escape through the mine due to the cave-in. So I'm sitting here now. I don't know what to expect. When I return, they'll put me back in isolation cell or put me down altogether. If I stay here, I bite the dust. Tony.
Damn, if that's true and Panner had the mines walled up, I'm trapped here.
Oh no.
Oh, by the way, Castle Wackersberg is not even finished, and I am making DLC for the mod.
A DLC for Castle Wackersberg.
It's like prequel. Small 5 to 6 maps, but
awesome.
Small story expansion.
Awesome. Okay, let's go left here.
Same for Madhouse 2. Madhouse 2 was not finished, and yet I was making Madhouse 3.
yeah, I noticed that.
We were waiting for proofreading and voice actors.
Yes.
I noticed that, yeah.
And there is a secret in this.
Yeah,
game.
I figured.
This was a sad story.
Small barrel.
Waiting for proofreading.
Yeah, it was. We were waiting for 6 voice lines over a month.
I mean, sucks.
Madhouse 2 was out, and I had finished the first chapter. I started to create the streets.
Yeah. Secret note 15 out of 15. Hell yeah, we did it. Managed to figure out how the factory hall elevator works. It always travels between two preset floors. The factory floor is always set by default. However, there's a control panel in the control room. You can use the buttons to select a different floor to go to the floor directly from the control room. I don't know what kind of idiot invented such a sophisticated system. Judging by the labels on the elevator panel, I understand that the elevator also goes to the old underground mines. It was immediately clear to me that the mines could be my way out. However, the underground floor button is locked. I had to steal the key in order to unlock the button, then everything went smoothly. Maybe this time Lady Luck will be so inclined and I'll finally escape from this nightmare. When I think about everything I experienced here, first serving in OCC's time insane asylum, then serving in Wakkersbak, and then in the end being locked up in the insane asylum at Blutenborg, and only because I told the truth about the evil that resides in Wakkersbak. Hey, maybe I could write a book about it. I will go somewhere very far, to Nuremberg, or better yet Vienna. That's not very far, you know. You can easily get lost in that human anthill.
Here's the mistake. Nuremberg.
I will...
Yes.
Yeah?
Nuremberg.
I am...
Should be N.
Oh, Burg, back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I see it. I will start a new life and finally find the peace my heart desires. Hans Hirsch.
All I have to say is good luck, lads.
Gunpowder. Okay, well, why didn't people just blow themselves out via then, huh?
I wanted to have C4, but after all, this is 18th century.
Yeah.
And this was Svanke's idea, because I completely forget that the gunpowder was invented over 1000 years ago or so.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay, I got some notes. Okay. Ah.
Is that Helmut?
Oh no, Helmut.
How did he get here?
Run! The bastard is not gonna get me! Ah. Is he even following me? No, he's not. Huh.
No, he's not.
Okay, well. Oh, go. Ah, outside. Feels good to be outside again. Oh.
This is the first custom story I demanded to have a good ending.
But still, you must throw yourself headlong into them, as if there was a driving force in you that forced you to do
I see the
something
lake is
beyond
also
yourself.
FPS
It
killer.
is a desire for self-realization.
Oh.
Each
Yes?
of you is trying
Don't see
to
it.
excel
No, it's
in
not.
yourself
Yeah.
in life.
But near a real
Specific
Blutenberg
being,
is
and thus
this.
to achieve inner
Is Buddha.
satisfaction. You can't conquer that feeling, and you often have to pass unprecedentedly tricky exits. And so was my case. The desire for justice forced me to fight a heinous evil that had spread like blood death all over Bavaria. Because, as I said, I've had unstable habits since childhood. I hate criminals.
Alright then. Ah, nice environment. Don't fade away.
Probably the longest out. No, Shadowwood Ramlord had longer outro, but still.
Yeah.
The Penner case provoked a vast scandal that transcended the borders of Bavaria. This was followed by a monstrous trial of Wittgenstein, in which I also appeared as a material witness. To publicly uncover Wittgenstein's crimes based on the evidence I presented, as well as the testimony of the discharged patients, whom he and Penner had locked up in greed for their insane motives. And last, but not least, thanks to the testimony of his wife, Stephanie von Wittgenstein, who was found to be sane and self-righteous based on a new medical examination. The case has earned me immense popularity. Job offers began to pour in, so many that I did not have time to reject them. The elector, Mr. Maximilian Joseph, honored me at Niflunberg for my merits and awarded me a small lifetime annuity. Baron von Binkenstein was sentenced to lose his property to his wife Stefania, as well as to life in exile
Really?
from Bavaria.
No death sentence?
He went to Vienna, where, according to my information, he committed several frauds, which landed him in the sights of the Austrian police, and then allegedly fled to Paris. The rest of his fate is unknown. Although Ilse von Lipnitz had a mental breakdown after Hermann's death, she became the universal heiress of the vast Lipnitz fortune. She gradually recovered from the suffering she had experienced and remarried after a time. After the death of old Baron von Lipnitz from Ruckenstein Castle, Warden Peter Schmidt did not hesitate to take advantage of the new situation and went to Munich to Schwabing to make his services available to the poor widow of Hermann. My friend Lieutenant Wardner was promoted to captain and became chief of the palace guard in Niflunberg. He is eternally in my debt for helping him in his career. The mental institution Brutenberg was out of service for some time after it burned down. However, it was reconstructed at the state's expense to be run under its new head, Dr. Uwe Kittel. The underground factory collapsed, as did the old mines, burying poor Helmut in their bowels. Hans Hirsch indeed managed to escape from the mines and then went to Vienna. However, when he learned about the turn of events, he understood that he had nothing to worry about. After a while, he returned to Munich, where he lives to this day. And that's the end of the entire story. I lead a reasonable happy life. Moreover, I got happily married about a year after the end of this story. What more could one wish for? And one more thing. Inge von Lipnitz, as I later learned, did not die in Osterstein. A story called Castle Wackersburg tells about it. But that's another story.
Yeah, that's a nice...
Punkest idea.
Back at here, this place again. It's not one of those endings where it is like, oh, I arrived at home, and then suddenly the grunt comes in and kills you.
No,
No.
not this time.
Letter from the Elector's office. Dear Klaus Peterson, we are sending you this letter, which serves as an official confirmation that you have become the holder of the Estate Award of the Bavarian Cross, awarded to you for your merits and goodwill by His Electoral Highness Maximilian Joseph. For the same reasons, you are granted a regular annual rent of 500 Bavarian guilders, which will be paid to you for life every first month of each new calendar year. Erwin Fleissing, Chief of His Highness Office. You know, I never liked such endings where all seem well and then suddenly the grunt enters again and kills you. There's so many custom stories with that. Each of you can be considered a fool when someone powerful points a finger at you by Swankist. Hell is not a place but a state of mind by Spilas. And give a man a custom story, he shall play the custom story. Give the community a website with custom stories and they shall be forever trolls. CSG 2021. Madhouse 3, The Last Madness. Amnesia bought by Sabatu en Swankist. Concept, Sabatu en Swankist.
Obvious.
Levels, Sabatu. Scripts, Sabatu. Puzzles, Sabatu. Story, Swankist. Realization of story, Swankist. What does it even mean, realization of story? Ideas and...
You're not the only one.
Ideas and thoughts, Sabatu, Swankist, Headless Cyborg. Technical support, Headless Cyborg. Dynamic Rope, Nate de Mate. Check Proofreading, Swankist. Check Voices, Klaus Peterson, Hedda Cyborg. Let's go a bit fast. Smit, Josef, Lipnitz, Swankist. Birkenstein, Spilas. Kittel, Josek. Penna, Swankist. Translation to English, Sabatu. English Proofreading, Aqua Sheep. Final English Proofreading, Spilas. English Voices, Peterson, Hedda Cyborg. Schmid, Josek. Lipnitz, Aqua Sweet. Aqua Sheep. Birkenstein, Spilas. Oh, that is... Kittel.
Because we need to rewrite this spells.
Yeah. Banner, Aqua Sheep. Development test with Hedda Cyborg, Swankist, Fasik 2.
In new version, I did it.
Okay.
No, okay.
Main tester, Hedda Cyborg. Final tester, Custom Story Gatherers. Translation, Coordinator, Swankist. Translation to Russian, Alexei Panov. Okay, to German, Oliver Treitler, Mr. Duke. French, Stanor. To Polish, Technology. Yeah, I've seen them around. Finnish. Paalikako. The.
Should be share text.
Paalikok.
The first modification where the Shariak is not
Yeah.
translation to Finnish, and he never did it. He never finished it. And yet he is in credits in our every mode.
Translation to Bulgarian. So Tom, your conclusion?
Well, what can I say? Remember that puzzle at the beginning with the ink?
Yeah.
Too hard. 2 out of 10. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, but now for real. Like I said, I think I already noticed that I mentioned that I like the way that there were much more different environments than usual. And some of the scares were excellent, especially with the ghost lady in the bathtub. Excellent. Oh, that is something I really enjoyed. The story, I think, is even better than the previous two. I mean, it does make it makes sense. It does also like reference to Madhouse 1 and 2 in the notes as well, which is interesting because it's somewhat in the same universe, which is nice. As always, the mapping and the lighting is impeccable. I mean, it looks gorgeous. You have done many gorgeous things with the water, with the lighting, you know. Very well detailed. One question is, like, you have this whole universe of what was it, the Bavarian saga, right? Castle Wackersburg is just before Madhouse 3 in a chronological scale, right?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So that makes sense in this case. So this will be actually the actual ending of it all, of the whole saga of...
No.
No? Okay.
There will be another modification mode called Afterlife, which will be probably the complete ending of the whole Madhouse series
Okay.
and Wackersburg. Probably.
And yeah, besides that, some secrets supposed to be hard to find, so I'm not complaining about that, but you know, as you can see, they're so easy to miss. So and also the puzzles, I mean, they were neatly done. I had not real problems with puzzles anyway. It was not too complicated. Like, for example, in the house you had to put on stuff on the pedestals and etc. Not too much as well. Although I do kind of like miss the signatures about the puzzles which I, you know, found in what was it, Decayed History, for example. But that's alright, because I still enjoyed the puzzles. I also, you know, enjoyed those interactive puzzles as well. But I guess I'm the only one that really enjoyed that, because there were so many others that I complained about it. But well, whatever. So in the end, summed it all up with the puzzles. Puzzles were good. story was better than Madhouse 1 and 2, and it neatly knitted into the whole lore with Madhouse 1 and 2 references, and it has a good ending, and it does reference a good way amount, and also the continuity of and the chronological, for example, with the note that Helmut was in the institution, was arrested and all that. The mapping, lighting, like I said, was perfect. It's something I don't see a lot in Amnesia custom stories. Even the good ones usually don't have, in really good lighting, and the sounds, the ambience is also really good. Nicely made out, nicely chosen ambience. Nice sounds from Phasmophobia as well. Yeah, okay, I lost my train of thought.
I need to ask one thing. What do you think about the amount of text and voice lines? The conversations, etc.
I like how this is still a custom story with decent amount of story, because I think that is still what you wanted. You don't want to have like a custom story that is just like more like made. You have sometimes custom story that do not have a lot of lore, just sometimes on the sideline. So it was a good amount of lore, which is great, because I don't like it when it's just too few, but it wasn't too much either. Like, it was just not one note after another.
I'm still expecting too much reading, 1 out of 10.
I mean, if you want to really make a story, of course you have to read. Of course you have to make... You can't just say... just a couple of notes, this happened and then that happened and that happened. If you want a nice rolling story, which you created in this custom story, it went nice, it rolled nice, it has nice spacing, it's not everything in one note, not too few in one note, just the right amount. So, and also the environments were very beautiful, like the beginning, like with the castle.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And on top of all, I find some of the scares really unique, especially with the bathtub, and it was very tense at times, So in the end, I think I have like this top 10 list of custom stories. Yeah, I'm gonna delete Final Revelations from Krusty out of there, because after I've seen it and played it again, I don't think it's that great anymore. Really, nothing political is here, but really, I think this deserves a spot in my top 10. Leaving Final Revelations out of the top 10, and I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. By the way, what is your top top custom story you ever played?
I know it. I know it.
I do not.
Yes, it's Destiny Revenant. What he has done with that custom story was so unique, it just blew my mind. It's not many people say like Key to Freedom or like The Great War, but for me those custom stories are great, but they are not like that unique. Like, I think Madhouse 3 is still more unique than, for example, The Great War with its assets and in its environments and scares.
And
By the way, Tom, we're looking forward for your testing of Castle Wackersberg.
Yeah, of course.
If you don't mind,
Of course I will do that.
If you don't mind.
Same as Madhouse 3, I really love doing this, so...
And is there in the list Amadeus?
Amadeus is like... second, I
In your
think.
top 10?
I have a list somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amadeus is second. And I think...
For me, it is probably the best modifications I've ever played.
yeah.
The maps, the story, the atmosphere, I absolutely
Yeah.
love it.
Also including the top 10 is Necrolog. I know that some people don't like that term too
Yeah.
much. Forbidden Trip Cadaver Party, although it's not complete yet, it is really interesting. If you haven't checked it out, you should play it as well. And also Acts of Analand Act 3 is also in there. Might have forgotten a couple, but I have to look at the list because I cannot always remember everything that I write down.
And Orland was perfect. If you forget about the hidden levers above the shelves.
Yeah.
And basically no lamp oil in my case.
Yeah, but
I like
seriously though, I was very impressed with Madhouse 3, and I think I had some points to improve in Madhouse 1 and 2 that I've written down in the ModDB review, and in my opinion you have improved upon that, and as I stated, if you improve on that, then you can get a 10 out of 10 because it's well deserved, and it comes into my top 10 of best custom
Thank
stories.
you.
So yeah,
Because people think I doesn't care about rating, but I care about them. But if the rate or the rating needs to be constructive,
yeah,
in like positives, negatives. But what I really hate, 1 out of 10, this is shit.
yeah, no, I understand.
Like
That was my point as well. This was also Speedus' point, and everybody that has some sense, But yeah, like for example, my reviews previously, I didn't give like a 10 out of 10. I gave it like an 8 or a 9, and then I said some things to improve. That was constructive, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I wonder what I need to do to be the top one in your list.
Well, if you look at
It's impossible. For
if you look at Destiny Revenant, basically what
I should play the game.
what impressed me with Destiny Revenant so much, like Umbakana has escaped this like 1980s, so the 80s Slovakian town, it's based in Slovakia, and it looks so like not Amnesia, yet it feels Amnesia, that I feel like it's so unique, it blew my mind. I mean, it's something that I really enjoy when especially because I play so many generic custom stories that just look the same. You have the sewers, you have the dungeons, you have the castle, it's all the same in those basic custom stories. And then sometimes you have a machine for picks assets with it, which makes it a bit more interesting, because if I just see only the same environments of main Amnesia, I've played it so many times that it just gets dull. And then Amnesia machine for picks came, and some people use it, which makes it more interesting. And you also try to use some rebuff assets, which makes it even more interesting. But what Umbakana did, he just escapes completely something different that is not seen in Amnesia at all. It's just so different. And same with I think Forbidden Trip Cadaver Party. Janka has really done some unique stuff with it that I just have never seen before in Amnesia. And I know.
I should play.
Yeah, you should. It's not.
The problem with me is like, if I do not like the screenshots, like the level design, there's no point for me to play.
Come.
That's a problem for me.
Yeah.
The story can be absolutely perfection, and I don't care, because if the mod does not look great, I won't play.
I mean, I in a way understand, because you don't have all the time in the world, so you can't just stop for every single custom story that looks decent but not good. I understand that, because you're also creating custom stories yourself, so you focus on that. And I mean, most of the developers that I spoke to have admitted like they have created more than that they have played more Amnesia, which is understandable, because creating custom stories takes a lot of time.
And yet, if I will play more custom stories, I maybe have more inspirations or ideas. But in the end, I don't want to end up like stealing something, because this is also my problem. I will create some, I don't know, room, and I am thinking like, oh, this is so original. And in the end, I realized I just created something I saw somewhere else.
Subconsciously, yeah, I understand that. Well, first of all, if it's
One more thing.
yeah,
One more thing, guys from our server thought that with his silly House of Retards will beat our Madhouse.
maybe we shall see.
Sure.
House of Retards will be
Sure.
number 1. Goodbye, Destiny Revenant. House of Retards, number 1. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that as long as it's not like a unique asset somebody made, but that by themselves, like a unique monster or an asset they made themselves. I mean, if you make something out of the assets from Amnesia that has been already kind of done subconsciously, I mean, they don't own the assets of Amnesia themselves as well, so they can't complain that you're copying them, unless, of course, you actually take their unique asset and plant it in their own custom story. Like some did with the Great Walk. And then Damascus was like,
Yeah,
how
exactly.
dare you!
I would like to use some new monster that is unique and scary, but there is not much monsters out there.
Yeah,
And I am not capable of creating something.
okay.
Like, I mean, model editor or something, Maya, Blender or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that is also something that made Destiny Revenant #1, because Umbakana made like his complete... He made his monsters himself in Blender, so he completely made a new monster. A couple, actually. Out of scratch, so that is something that's also made this custom story to come to #1, because he created his own monsters completely not from Amnesia, because sometimes you have custom stories like it's like a stone suitor, for example, or a black suitor, you know, it's still a suitor but just a reskin of it.
I used Stone Suitor in Madhouse 2, if I remember.
Yeah, but
Or Madhouse 1, I use it.
it's kind of that some custom story developers do. They say it has a custom monster, but that custom monster is sometimes like just a reskin of an existing monster. And I'm like, it's not really a custom monster. A custom monster is something that has not been seen before in Amnesia. So something...
So definitely I would like to have monster created from Angel statue from Justin.
Yeah, that's interesting.
As you may guess, I'm using the statue frequently, even like an anime in some ways.
Yeah.
But still, it's just a statue.
I mean, in Lucy's eyes, the Ghost Lady is also a complete custom monster, so... And it's good that you can use it without getting problems. Oh, how dare you steal that from me!
For me, definitely the Ghost Lady is probably the most scary custom monster from Amnesia.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. But it doesn't top for me. The scariest is still the Hunter, you know, the one that has those glowy eyes and just, you know, growls. But that is from the tech demo, so it's technically speaking not a custom monster. It's a monster created by fictional games, but it's rarely used for some reason. But yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this recording. I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I'll see you in the next custom story. Cheers.
Okay.